Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We are awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he does show up, then it's great. If he doesn't, then we will probably see him tomorrow night for Strictly Sports. So, we got a lot to talk about, guys. As always, we got AEW, Dynamite, and NXT. We're just not going to waste too much time. We're going to go into AEW. We started it off tonight with a one-on-one match. It was Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer, and it was Eddie Kingston winning the match in 8 minutes and 50 seconds. I gotta say, this was a little bit of a surprising outcome. I didn't expect Eddie Kingston to beat the Murder Hawk, but he did. And man, I mean, where does Lance Archer go from here? Especially after a bad loss here tonight to Eddie Kingston. Um, there was a lot of expectations, especially coming out of New Japan, and now he went into AEW and he's kind of been relegated to mid-card jobber status. Maybe I might be a little harsh on my comments here, but that's the way I see it. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
What's your rating him at?
I'm gonna give this about 3 stars.
2.5 to 3. That's about right. Eddie Kingston could not have beaten Lance Archer without the help of Butcher, Blade, and Bunny. His win was a hollow one, a victory he should not be overly confident about, but he will because he is a great heel who will spin it in his favor. This was a physical battle, a war between two double tough guys that saw Kingston win after Archer probably could have put him away 1, 2, or 3 other occasions. It was a smartly wrestled match, didn't expose either competitor's weaknesses, and laid the groundwork for another showdown between them. It worked and earned the heels heat as they head toward Revolution. Do not be surprised if Archer looks for revenge at or before that show. Now, some quick news about Revolution. It was originally scheduled to be on a Saturday night, February the 27th, exactly a month from now. But it's been pushed back. And for the first time ever, AEW is going to have a Sunday night pay-per-view. Yes. Revolution will be airing on Sunday night, March the 7th. So mark that on your calendar. Sunday, March 7th. That's when Revolution is. So you got a little extra time to build this thing up. So 2.5 to 3. That's the best I can go. So MF, let's move on to the next match, and I'll get it started.
Actually, a side note, Anthony, Tony Khan stated that he won't run head to head with the NFL, so I wouldn't expect Sunday night pay-per-views to become regular for AEW when the football seasons begin. But because the football season is off is going to be off after next Sunday, it basically opens the door for AEW to do some Sunday pay-per-views, and now this actually now gives us that reminiscent back of the days when you had a WCW pay-per-view, WWF or WWE pay-per-view. So now you could start seeing them maybe go 1 week after the other up until football season, and then they'll probably stop there because, like you said, Tony Khan is not going to run against the NFL.
Yeah, WWE made that big mistake 5 years ago with the Royal Rumble, going up against the conference championships. Good luck.
Yeah.
So that's it. Move on.
All right. So, all right. So next up on the show, we had was okay. So it was Chris Jericho and MJF. They went up against the Varsity Blondes, Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison. And when it was all said and done, it was Jericho and MJF winning the match in 8 minutes and 10 seconds. So, Anthony, it's yours.
This was 2.5 stars. The overall quality of the tag match was hurt exponentially by the commercial break and the abbreviated babyface comeback sequence. There was not nearly enough time for Garrison and Pillman to build momentum for themselves before the finish came from out of nowhere, rendering the match a glorified squash. Then MJF told Sammy Guevara they needed to talk after the bout, but didn't. This was a rushed mess, a sprint of a segment that accomplished nothing and didn't really benefit any one star or storyline involved. Disappointing, certainly, if for no other reason than the wealth of talent involved. 2.5 stars. That's it. MF, it's yours. MF, are you there?
Sorry, forgot to unmute my mic. No, it was all right. 2.5 stars. You're absolutely right, Florio. Um, the match was more like a paint by numbers more than anything else. A little bit of a disappointment to say the very least. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna hark too hard about it, and we're just gonna move right on along here. We had some promo stuff after that, but it does lead to our next match. Adam Hangman Page versus the Hollywood Hunk, Ryan Namath, and it was the Hangman. Adam Page winning the match in 5 minutes and 40 seconds. All right, I mean, it was okay, I guess. I'm not gonna really go too crazy about it. This was another 2.5 star match. It was more of a showcase more than anything else, but um, Florio, it's yours.
Got a little fun fact for you. Did you know that Ryan Nemeth is the younger brother of Dolph Ziggler?
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know that. No.
Dolph Ziggler's real name is Nick Nemeth, and his career well documented on our program. Of course, he is currently one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions with Robert Roode as part of the Dirty Dogs, and yeah, Ryan happens to be the younger brother of Mr. Dolph Ziggler. But anyways, I do agree, MF. This was about 2 to 2.5 here. Hangman picked up a big win over Nemeth, who showed off in his first big opportunity inside an AEW ring. The real news was the appearance of Matt Hardy, whose post-match promo sounded a hell of a lot like a con man trying to win Page over in order to lure him into his growing stable than a friend looking out for his buddy. With Dark Order also trying to win him over, it appears as though Page will remain the object of faction's affection in the battle for AEW dominance. That's really all there is to say on this. So, solid outing for the younger brother of Dolph Ziggler, but other than that, no. 2 to 2.5. Come on, MF. We got to have something good on this show. Come on.
I wish I could give you something here, Florio, but well, you know what? All right, you challenged me. Challenge accepted. Here's one for you. Dax Harwood goes one-on-one with Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy wins the match in 14 minutes, 55 seconds. Oh my, the upset.
There you go. That's more like it. 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. You can definitely make an argument for fight of the night here. Jungle Boy is going to be a huge star for AEW way ahead of schedule. Between this match against Dax and the Double or Nothing match against MJF last May, you have a young star who is infinitely better now than he was when he earned rave reviews as one of the brightest performers in the industry. The physicality, the frenetic pace down the stretch, and the psychology demonstrated throughout helped make this match one of the most unexpectedly great bouts in Dynamite history. Kudos to Harwood, who is a master of the mat game and a wholly underrated worker. He deserves every bit of the credit and recognition Jungle Boy receives. He brings an old school mindset and skill set to his work, and it meshes extremely well with what Jungle Boy employs. The post-match angle only added further heat to FTR's intensifying feud with Jurassic Express and sets up an eventual blow-off, perhaps as soon as Revolution on Sunday night, March the 7th. So there is absolutely no doubt about this one. And this was, you can definitely make an argument for fight of the night, if not the fight of the night. I caught this match. I watched the match live because, it's very hard to, keep an eye on both shows, but I flip back and forth generally, and I caught most of this match. And the two things that came out of it for me: hell of a match, great action throughout, especially down the stretch. And MF, you got to feel for referee Paul Turner. He got a workout, man. All those near falls he had to count. Oh my God, he got a workout and then some, man. Oh,
Yo,
Paul Turner, I feel for you, brother. I do.
nah, bro. Keep working the cardio, Holmes. Until you get into Aubrey Edwards level, you got to keep
Oh,
working that audio, keep working that cardio, because that's all I'm saying.
yeah. Well, yes. Fair enough. Fair enough. So 3.5, 3.5. Yeah, three and a half to 3 3/4 of a star. Finally, something good, MF. Finally.
Yes, I mean, this was definitely a great match. 3.5 stars for me as well. The upset is really the thing that really makes it more anything else. Jungle Boy, if you really think about it, Dax Harwood is light years ahead of Jungle Boy in wrestling, in you know, in performing, everything else. But tonight with Jungle Boy's, he shined more than anybody else here tonight, and the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit for him, and I really love it, man. I love what I'm seeing. I am really excited for it. Yeah, that was a big win for him. Then we had Dr. Britt Baker versus Sheena, and when it was all said and done, Dr. Britt wins the match in 8 minutes and 45 seconds. I mean, perfect cool down match, solid 2 to 2.5 stars. And the thing was, after the match was over, Thunder Rosa came out because Britt tried to hurt the opponent, and yeah, everything went down and it exploded. So this was a solid match. It was okay for what it was worth. 2 to 2.5. And Anthony Florio, I give it to you. Britt wins yet again, but Thunder Rosa is breathing down her neck. It's only a matter of time before these two lovelies get it on.
Next week, that's when. And 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. Like any mid-match commercial break in wrestling, the flow to this one was hurt. But Baker and Shauna still turned in an above-average match that showcased the growth and evolution of the Doctor. She is very quickly becoming the centerpiece performer the company envisioned her being, and that bodes well for all involved. Don't sleep on Shauna, though, who has impressed every time she has appeared on Dynamite. Back after COVID circumstances prevented her appearances, she figures to be a contender for gold sooner than later, especially given how talented an in-ring performer she is. The showdown between Dr. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, weeks in the making, should be damn fun next week. And maybe we'll finally get that women's match that we've been dying for. That really good women's match that can rank up there with all the other great women's wrestling divisions in the world of professional wrestling today. So 2.5 to 2 3/4. Not much more to say. MF, Dr. Britt, Thunder Rosa. We don't have to wait long. Just one more week. Next week, as part of that big beach special, they're going to get it on. It's yours, Matt Middleton.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it does lead us to the main event of the evening, guys. And the main event was an 8-man tag team match. It was the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers. They went up against 4 members of the Dark Order, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver. When it was all said and done, I guess you can call it the Elite wins the match. The Young Bucks and the Good Brothers wins it in 11 minutes and 45 seconds. Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Second best fight of the night here. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Dark Order's Evil Uno and Stu Grayson have somehow gone from the worst team on the roster to the most underrated. They work so much better as babyfaces, as seen here, and have really stepped it up with their recent increase in television time. Alex Reynolds is low-key good, and John Silver, let me tell you about your boy Silver. He's going to make AEW a ton of money as the gutsy, hilarious underdog, sawed-up shotgun babyface. With that said, this was all about the Bullet Club and building to next week's beach break. The heels looked unstoppable at times and are rolling ahead of the special broadcast. That is until Jon Moxley sent a message loudly and clearly to them ahead of next week's show. A hot finish to the show with a damn fine tag match and some stellar performances from the Dark Order crew to boot. So that's all there is to say there. 3.25, 3.5 stars, second best fight of the night. And that great way to close out what ended up being another, solid but not overly spectacular show.
I agree with that. I mean, to me, I think we've been living with fool's gold lately. AEW's been so good, so good, so good that we expect AEW to be almost perfect every time out. And the last couple of weeks they've been good, but last week was a little bit of a dumpster. Was a little bit of a dumpster, not a dumpster fire, but a dumpster. This time around, they gave us half a dumpster. I mean, it was solid. It was okay. The main event was 3.5, and overall, I could give this about 7. I mean, 6.5 to 7. And I'm going to be very generous with that. I think it was an alright show, like we said. It was a little better than last week, but not much better. It was a little better. There was a couple of matches that stood out. But everybody's still talking about the Jungle Boy upset. I mean, that's probably going to be the biggest talking point of this week. Jungle Boy winning that match and really putting himself in a big-time spot down the line. So, we got nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, go ahead. It's yours.
Yeah, 6.5 to 7. That's about right. I mean, definitely better than last week. I mean, Jungle Boy and Harwood. That was the fight of the night, hands down. Main event, second best fight of the night, and those were the two standout matches. The other matches were okay to good. I mean, not really anything to write home about, but nonetheless, definitely a step up from last week. Not the big thing there. So, but next week though, next week, I mean, we got Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers teaming up against Jon Moxley, Pac, and Ray Phoenix. 6-man tag. That's a show stealer right there. And then you got Thunder Rosa against Dr. Britt Baker. Top Flight will be, and then from there we have the big tag team battle royale, and the winners will earn the right to challenge the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championship at Revolution. However, the Young Bucks are also going to be in this battle royale, and if the Young Bucks win the battle royale, they get to choose their opponents. Champion's prerogative. So they'll get to they can pick whoever they want to face at Revolution should they win. But if any of the other teams win, that team will challenge the Bucks at Revolution for the World Tag Team Championship. And then from there, the wedding of Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, Miro and the new butler Charles Taylor. So we'll see how that goes. And now, before we move on, MF, I'm very curious. The big question here is: we've seen a ton of weddings in the world of professional wrestling, and every single one of them, with the exception of maybe one, maybe two, have had something fluky happen. This is AEW's first ever. This is the first time since AEW started. This is the first time that they're throwing their hat into the wedding ring. I mean, how many WWE weddings have we seen that have gone?
Gone awry? Oh my God! I mean,
except for two.
Yeah, you could admit. I mean, well, okay. The first one we're going to talk about was the Uncle Elmer. That was
Vicky.
And Miss Vicky.
Saturday Night
And in Uniondale, Long Island, if I remember.
No,
Nassau.
no.
No.
It was the Meadowlands.
Oh, Meadowlands. My apologies. I actually thought it was in Uniondale, Long Island. Okay, my bad. But you could say it was partially interrupted by Roddy Piper. Piper didn't get involved. He did object, but the wedding did go off without a hitch other than that interruption. And you could say that, yes, they actually did, you could call that a successful marriage.
Yeah.
We can call that.
Yep.
The other one is the most famous of them all. The most notorious of them all. SummerSlam 1991, Madison Square Garden, New York City.
Yes, sir.
Right in the heart of 33rd Street in Manhattan. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
The Mountie being dragged away. Yeah, the Mountie was being let out in the paddy wagon there, and Gorilla Monsoon mentioned about the paddy wagon being pulling out onto that certain street there. And yeah, the Uncle Elmer wedding was with Miss Vicky, and that was on one of the early episodes of one of the very first episodes of Saturday Night's Main Event, and it was at the legendary Meadowlands Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Later, the Continental Airlines Arena, and then the Izod Center, which hosted numerous pay-per-views, including 3 SummerSlams and a King of the Ring, and among others. But
yes,
but yeah, you talked about 33rd in Manhattan. What were you going to do there, Monsoon?
Well, I was going to talk about the wedding of Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth.
Absolutely.
And that was really the first legit wedding I ever saw in WWF. First legit wedding I've ever saw, and got to see it live as it happened.
I did too.
That was awesome.
I did too.
It was perfect. 0 interruptions. Funny commentary by Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, and Roddy Piper. That was probably the only comic relief we had the entire wedding.
Hey, I'm getting stuff on my suit.
Yeah. But it was professionally done. It was cordial. It was lovely. I think there was no other wedding that could even have topped that wedding there.
Greatest one ever.
Greatest one ever, because it was perfect. It was ceremonial. Mm-hmm. It had everything a wedding needed it to do.
Absolutely.
It had everything a wedding we envision. I think it's the best way to say it. Forget about the church part and the prayers and all this stuff. No, they went from the vows to the exchanging of the rings to basically the kiss.
And the confetti coming down, the streamers. Oh,
yep. So it was awesome. That was an iconic moment.
Greatest one ever.
Greatest one ever.
Nothing's ever going to top it. Nothing.
No. The next one we remember was Stephanie McMahon and Test. Their wedding.
Our favorite.
Our personal favorite. And the thing was, for most of the wedding, it was again going great. Everything was fine. There was nothing wrong. Everything was going perfectly until there was a major objection by the Game Triple H. And remember, Vince McMahon warned everybody, if anybody tried to pull a stunt to get involved in the wedding or to try to stop the wedding, that they would be fired on the spot.
That's right.
Well, Triple H basically came out and basically had a nuke in his possession, and boy was it a bomb. He drops it, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H had already gotten married because he took her. Okay, let's go a little bit sidetrack. Let's backtrack a little bit. On the night of the bachelorette party, Stephanie was hanging out with her friends and whatnot, and she had a drink. She was given a drink. That drink had a little sedative in there and knocked her out.
Yeah.
She was out like a light. Doesn't even remember anything. Next thing we know, she finds out. Next thing we know, Triple H commandeers her. I guess you could say kidnapped against her will, but I don't think it was against the will after the fact. But still,
I got the full history of wrestling weddings here.
All right,
I found it on a site here.
Oh, nice.
There have been 14. When you combine all the promotions here, I don't know if I'm counting this correctly, but actually the very first wedding was Paul Vachon and Ophelia on an episode of Tuesday Night Titans on December the 18th of 1984. And I think, from what I'm reading here, I think there were some shenanigans here. And who's the one who started it? Captain Lou Albano.
Oh no,
Captain Lou. And then but everything was okay. He interrupted, and then nothing happened. But then Dr. D. David Schultz. Yeah, we all know the reputation he had, and I think the wedding did go down, and then a fight broke out, and then they had a food fight broke out at their wedding reception.
Yeah.
And I had to make a correction. It was Uncle Elmer, but I got the lady's name wrong. Her name was Joyce.
Okay.
Uncle Elmer and Joyce. It was the second episode of Saturday Night's Main Event. October 3rd, 1985, Meadowlands Arena, East Rutherford, New Jersey. It wasn't just Roddy Piper, MF. My boy, Jesse the Body Ventura, actually got a little antsy during that. So.
But he was more antsy in commentary. I don't ever remember Jesse physically objecting on it, where Piper objected.
Yeah.
Like, he literally got on the mic and was objecting. Right. So that kind of
Wedding went down, and then from there, of course, and then after that, it was the legendary Macho Man Miss Elizabeth wedding at SummerSlam '91.
Yeah.
The ceremony went off without a hitch, but if you were
the reception did not go off without a hitch.
Coliseum video, baby.
Yep.
If you ever rented the tape on Coliseum Video, which I at one time did, I saw it, and I couldn't believe what I saw. Nobody could believe what we saw. It was Jake the Snake Roberts and The Undertaker. Jake the Snake and The Undertaker. They were opening. Miss Elizabeth was opening the gifts, and then one thing led to another, and then a cobra popped out, and Liz fainted, freaked the F out, and then a big old brouhaha broke out, and that pretty much started the legendary Macho Man Jake the Snake feud. And oh boy, did we have fun with that.
Not only that, but also Taker has shown up. And that Taker got involved, and that actually prompted Hogan and Justice to jump out to make the save.
Yep, and you got it. And you all I can say is you can find it on YouTube, but if you can't, if anybody actually has the Coliseum home video version, fast forward that sucker to the very end of the tape. If you see how that went down. Then from there. Do we even remember the legendary unholy ceremony with The Undertaker and Stephanie?
Oh, yeah.
Hartford, Connecticut, Hartford Civic Center, the night after Backlash. That got interrupted, obviously, because of Stone Cold.
Austin made the save, and thank God he did, because Stephanie was...
Yeah.
She was a goner.
Yep. And then from there was, of course, the Stephanie and Test, and then the Triple H, and the infamous, now I know you got one thing on your mind, Dad.
Oh, my God.
That's the part we have the most fun with.
Yeah.
And then we'll park it there.
We'll leave the other part. We're not allowed to say about the other part.
Park it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Even though I'm tempted to say it, but nope. I'd rather be nice. I'd rather be nice.
exactly.
You know.
And then
At
from
least.
there, and then we had, and then believe it or not, our first non WWE wedding, WCW Monday Nitro, September 11th of 2000, Stacy Keibler and David Flair.
Yeah, because wasn't there some kind of storyline about that Stacy was pregnant
Yes.
and that David Flair was the father, and that's what led to them.
And then Buff Bagwell was in, and Buff Bagwell, Marcus Bagwell was involved, and that storyline was eventually abandoned, and we never got a payoff. So
Yeah.
nothing happened there. And then another one of our favorites, the Stephanie McMahon and Triple H facade from February 11th, 2002, Monday Night Raw. The you know that one.
Oh.
Stephanie faked the pregnancy, and
Yes. Stephanie faked the pregnancy. We thought that she was pregnant leading into it.
and then a video, and then it turned, and then Linda McMahon
was the one that blew the whole thing up.
and then Triple H got in Steph's face, said, "We are through."
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that there was a potted plant. Triple H punted that thing, and it was like a damn good field goal. That plant, he kicked the plant, and it was good. It was
Yeah.
good for me. Let me
Yeah.
tell you.
That thing got
And
before there was Dean Ambrose and Mitch. There was Triple H and the potted plant at the wedding, and yeah, that thing went flying.
He kicked that thing like Adam Vinatieri, man. I'm telling you,
Yep.
like Adam Vinatieri in Super Bowl 36, 8 days before that.
Yep.
But, the one that won it for the Pats, and then from there, one of the most controversial, maybe the most controversial of all, the infamous Billy and Chuck fiasco.
Oh.
On SmackDown.
Okay.
The
This got major attention. As a matter of fact, NBC, the Today Show,
they had Billy and Chuck on.
yeah, they talked about it too. And the whole thing was going into it. It was done by Rico. Rico was the main guy, and he personally invited Stephanie McMahon, who then at the time was the SmackDown general manager for this wedding.
Indeed.
And everything was fine. But once they realized that, wait a minute, this is getting a little out of hand, thinking, wait a minute, look, we act like it, but we're not that. We don't swing that way. We're not, we're two normal guys. We're two normal straight guys. Even though we support LGBTQ, but we don't go that route.
Right.
Well, everything blows up until the minister basically talks about, all about relationship that could last about 3 minutes. He's like, wait a minute. Once he says that,
did I just hear myself say 3 minutes?
Reveals himself to be Eric Bischoff, the general manager of Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing we know,
all hell breaks loose.
We had problems.
Big
problems. Huge problems, because Jamal and Rosie, 3-minute warning shows up, and poor Stephanie got caught in the middle. Gets laid out.
Yes, she did.
In the war.
Yep.
And trust me, if this was the war between Raw and SmackDown like me and Florio would have, I would have been going bonkers, nuts, angry at that moment.
Exactly.
But Anthony, you were a big Stephanie McMahon fan at the time, so I know you were very furious at that moment.
Yes.
before we had the Raw SmackDown war, we both were kind of, we liked both shows. There was never
Oh no, there was no competition.
there was no war. There was no war between us.
No, but we did Raw because we felt Raw had the bigger names, the bigger superstar talent.
Yeah.
And that's why we did the JR and King and the legendary stage announce table. But anyways, moving forward here. Then from there, January 2nd of 03, this is one that I know MF had a lot of fun with. And just MF alone, not myself. The infamous Al Wilson and Dawn Marie.
Oh,
That was all you, man. That was all you.
I felt it got a little uncomfortable in certain areas,
Oh yes, it did.
but oh my goodness.
Yep, you know that story.
I know that one. Yep.
Now this next one, I think you might. I have no idea about this one. Maybe I think you might know about this one because this was
All right.
Mike Cruel and Becky Bayless. USA Pro Wrestling Blood, Sweat, and Tears 2. April 12th, 2003.
I got nothing on that one.
Oh.
No, I'm gonna have to go and check that one out. No,
I have a little synopsis, a small synopsis. It said the wedding didn't happen. Daniels was the priest. Simon Diamond and Matt Stryker came out in drag as the CSC's dates. Bayless dumped Cruel just before completion, saying he was boring and an idiot. She then claimed Stryker got her pregnant and a big brawl broke out. So we'll just leave it at that. We know this one. Kane and Lita from Monday Night Raw, August 23rd of 04.
Yeah.
And that was because of the SummerSlam match where Matt Hardy and Kane had that Till Death Do Us Part match. And the winner got to marry Lita. Kane won. And then all hell breaks loose there. Buff E and Mace Mendoza, USA Pro Wrestling, November the 19th of 04. Don't know much about that. Edge and Lita, Monday Night Raw, June 20th of 05. The infamous JC moment. I'm going to leave it at that because of Kane coming up from under the ring.
Oh, yes.
And the priest yelled, JC. You know that.
Yep. Yeah. But back in the day, Florio definitely enjoyed it. But now if Florio would have, because of what...
No. Yeah, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna,
No, I was gonna say, I think you wouldn't be as I'm not really kind about it now than you were back in the day.
No, I still get a kick out of the priest saying JC, man. It was Oh. And then we had Cowboy Jack Durango and Adrenaline from an Impact Zone Wrestling, Valentine's Day 06. Teddy Long and Crystal Marshall from the Friday Night SmackDown in 2007, the one where Tilo had the heart attack. I think we all remember.
Yeah, that one was good for.
And the natural Butch Reed and Ron Simmons from Doom, who Teddy Long managed in the old WCW.
Yeah,
they served as the Butch Reed was a groomsman and Ron Simmons was the best man.
And actually, it was Tori and Michelle actually representing for Crystal.
Yes,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was a campy comedy wedding. That's what
it was. Bruce was the minister. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, who was the minister?
Bruce, who's actually a comedian from Atlanta.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's actually he was a pretty big celebrity back in the.
And then we had Kurt Angle, Karen Angle wedding on Impact TNA Impact Valentine's Day, 2008. AJ Styles.
Yes.
Enough said.
Yes.
Phenomenal. Jay Lethal, SoCal Val, Slammiversary 2008, where all the legends and Hall of Famers were there. Sanjay Dutt.
Sanjay, oh my God, what a moment that was.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And then from there, the last one to date, although I thought we've had some more since then, the infamous Edge and Vicky Guerrero fiasco from 2008. The one that Trips got involved in.
Well, okay, hold on. Because if you remember, earlier in the day, they did do the ceremony. Yes. So technically you can say that went off without a hitch. It was after the fact.
That's when Trips showed up.
That's when Trips showed up.
Trips showed up and
all hell broke loose. Yeah.
The video and that set up the Triple H and Edge title match for the Great American Bash about a month or so after that.
Mm-hmm.
But the point I'm trying to make is with this Penelope and Kip thing going on next week on the Dynamite, without a hitch or chicanery, I vote chicanery.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some chicanery. I think it's going to be Orange Cassidy and
man.
I think Orange Cassidy definitely is going to want to get involved.
Agreed.
And there's gonna be something there.
Indeed it will.
I mean, the one thing I'm wondering is how super bad is Penelope Ford gonna look in the dress?
Oh my god! You know how much I love you. We can get away with this.
Yes, you can get away with this.
We can.
Yes.
Both of us can because someone's not with us.
Dude, she's gonna hear this playback and she's gonna be like, "Oh Lord." She's gonna be like, "Mike, Anthony, really? Hey, sorry, sorry."
Would have been checkered apron time, no doubt about that. But all I do know is this: it's no secret. I dig Penelope Ford.
Yes.
Man, she's definitely someone I admire, not just for her beauty, but also for her amazing athletic ability. She's one of the few who can wrestle in that women's division, and I think she'll be a future champion somewhere in the future. But I'll tell you, man, what is that going to be like? Beats Bray. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But man, I'm already. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We're definitely not going to do the Bobby Heenan bit. No doubt about that.
No.
We're not going to do that cheap blue light special stuff. No.
Nope.
So.
Well. Traditionally, when it comes to these weddings, we always try to be as very professional about it. So, but
it's going to be chicanery, no doubt.
Yeah, it's almost a given. It's going to be.
This goes off without a hitch. I'll be shocked.
Well, you know what I think it could do? I think they could go without a hitch, and then maybe after the wedding is over, all hell breaks loose. That could happen.
That works. Okay.
Because I kind of feel like they will actually want to go without a hitch because I think they are dating in real life, or I think they are engaged in real life.
Yes, they
Kip
are.
Sabian and Penelope Ford. So
they are.
I'm pretty sure this is gonna happen. I just don't know if they're gonna. If maybe they'll do a real wedding at the beginning, and then maybe after the wedding's over is when we get the shenanigans. Because that's what I'm thinking. I hope I'm wrong, but
we'll see.
We'll see. Also depends where they put it on the show too.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it in the main event spot.
But does it deserve main event though?
No. That is true.
Yeah.
We got that big 6-man though.
That
6-man.
Maybe could that be the jump off to next week's show? Have that start at the beginning? Let them get married right at the beginning?
I wouldn't mind it.
That'd be pretty nice. Start out with some celebration.
Yeah, and then let all the hell break loose.
Yeah, there you go.
But I got a good feeling about next week, though.
Yeah. So, all right. So, let's move on quick. We got NXT. We start off with the Dusty Classic. Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. They went up against Nash Carter and Wes Lee of MSK. MSK moves on. 11 minutes and 4 seconds. Good match. Yeah. Very good fight. Great way to start the show. Easily for me, 3 stars. Florio, go.
Definitely. It felt too short, but the talent delivered. Maverick especially worked well with MSK, who played a unique role as the dominant performers. For the most part, they will be the face team coming back against top heel tag teams in the future. At some point, Maverick and Dane deserve a serious run at the NXT tag team titles. but it was never to be this year. MSK has impressed so far and acclimated well to the black and gold brand style. Hopefully, they'll get a chance to show their personalities soon. So, bigger and better things coming for the former Rascals, MF, and who knows, they could be a dark horse in this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Next match we had was the women's classic match, as it was Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Jessie Camilla and Aaliyah. As expected, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez wins the match in 5 minutes and 56 seconds. Anthony, you predicted it. It's gonna happen. Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter will face Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez next week.
Casey and Caden, nice knowing you. That's all I'm gonna say. So, but anyways, just really quick, MSK, former Rascals, they're gonna meet the winner of either Lucha House Party or Legado del Fantasma. I mean, either of those would be a good match, but I kind of want to see them against Fantasma. That would be pretty cool. So, what was the time of that again?
5:56.
2 to 2.5. I mean, this was almost a squash, but the member of the Robert Stone brand got a little more offense than expected. It made sense that the most established heel women's team in NXT would look so good against a pair of wrestlers that rarely win. It could have been fun to see more from them. The Robert Stone brand has been absent so long that this could have been a soft reboot. Instead, it was made clear that Aaliyah will never be the plan in NXT. Camilla has a chance, but just needs more of a character. So 2 to 2.5. So MF, Kai and Gonzalez, they look damn good tonight. So your girls, Kaden and Casey, oh boy, I don't know.
It's good. It's a tough order. That's a tough order, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, next up we had was Tyler Russ. He went up against, I guess, a local wrestler. Russ won the match in 3 minutes and 56 seconds. We're not going to get into that. We're just going to blow that one off. Next up we had was Grizzled Young Veterans. They went up against Kushida and Leon Ruff. Unfortunately for all the fans, the DeLorean decides to go bye-bye. Leon Ruff and Kushida falls to the Grizzled Young Vets at 9 minutes and 51 seconds. Good match. Solid fight, no doubt about it. This was about 2.5 to 3. Anthony, solid match, but the veterans looked good, and they advance.
They do. 3 to 3.25 stars. This was fun, nonstop action. Kushida and Ruff worked well as the underdogs, working from underneath, especially against a great opportunistic tag team like the Grizzled Young Veterans. There was not much story behind the chaos, but that worked all the same. Grizzled Young Veterans continue to work at the highest level as a tag team. It's unlikely they will beat either Adam Cole and Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era or the newly randomly thrown together tag team of Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. But Drake and Gibson should win tag team gold by the end of this year, no doubt. 3.25. Move on.
All right, so then after that, our next match was Bronson Reed against Isaiah Swerve Scott, and the Colossal Bronson Reed wins the match in 5 minutes and 47 seconds. Anthony?
2.5. This was the best Swerve and Reed have been together. It was the first time Scott felt like he had a legitimate chance to win. However, the Colossal remains too limited in his overall repertoire to have absolute show stealers. Reed clearly has become a focus for NXT. He has the size and talent to stand out. However, he is still a few steps away from truly feeling like a main event act. Swerve has more star power, but his size may forever hold him back, especially as an opportunistic heel. 2.5, maybe 2.75. MF?
Yeah, I'll give you the 2.5 to 3. I thought it was a solid match, no doubt about it. Leads us to the main event of the evening, as it will be Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, the NXT Team Champions, going up against Kyle O'Reilly and the NXT World Champion Finn Balor. Non-title match. And it was Kyle O'Reilly and Balor winning the match in 11 minutes and 56 seconds. Obviously, fight of the night. 3.5 stars for me. Very good main event. Solid match. The chaos after the match was excellent. And yeah, there's really nothing more to add. Anthony, final thoughts?
3.5 stars, I agree. The main event felt old school. The tag team action was nothing truly special, but it was always consistently solid. The tag team champions dominated throughout, only to lose at the end. It was the latest example of WWE showing a lack of clear respect to the current NXT Tag Team Champion. Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne is going to be special. That has Match of the Year candidate written all over it. The inclusion of Undisputed Era felt unnecessary, but UE has been too consistently connected to Dunne, Lorcan, and Birch not to get involved. Hopefully, Kyle O'Reilly is at least out of the title picture for a few months to get some wins back. And, Pete Dunne, he did it. He did it. Oh, he did it. The joint manipulation. Oh, gosh. Oh, oh, Finn. Oh, man. I feel so bad. But all I know is, don't be surprised if come Valentine's Day takeover, we get a Match of the Year candidate on our hands, MF. This has 5 stars easily written all over it.
Absolutely. Absolutely, no doubt in my mind. There's really nothing more to add. Anthony, final thoughts on the show?
I would probably say slightly better than AEW, but it wasn't really, it wasn't a decisive win like it was a week ago. I mean, last week that was decisive. This time around, not so much, but it was a solid show though. I probably would go maybe 7.5. I would say maybe at the absolute best. Let me see. As usual, NXT delivers a very good episode of TV. No Match of the Year candidates or anything like that, but several good matches, angle advancement, aka storyline progression, and an easy watch. So I'll go 7.5. MF, what says you?
No, I agree. 7.5. There's really nothing more to say about it. I think you guys really summed it up. So that's it for tonight. And as always, tomorrow night is another edition of Strictly Sports. We got ourselves a loaded show. First off, we gotta give our thoughts and our prayers to 2 legends, actually, Anthony. One to Hank Aaron, the other one to Don Sutton, because both men passed away, and we want to give them the proper send-offs that they truly deserve. Both legends of the game, both Hall of Famers of the game. So we're going to do that. We have a lot of baseballs to talk about. We got Kiki Hernandez. We just found out about JT Realmuto. We got to talk about that. Then we just got a major announcement from the NFL that just broke within the last hour, Anthony. The Houston Texans have found their man. They have a new head coach. We will reveal all that tomorrow night. And on top of that, well, yesterday we saw it. It happened, guys. For the first time in a long time, we were thinking maybe is it possible? Nobody got the 75%. No Hall of Famers going in this year. We only have just the class that got held over from last year. They will finally get their day in. No additional members will be added. And I know Derek Ferreira went off. He was not happy. And I know, Anthony, you have something to say about it. I got my own personal opinion about it. It's probably different from your opinion. And as our main event, we will recap the AFC and NFC Championship game and give our first thoughts on Super Bowl 55. We'll do that at 10:30 tomorrow night. Thank you, Anthony Florio, as always. And thank you guys for watching. We will see you tomorrow night. Until then, have a good night. And so long for now.